We indeed, and greetings upon you, beloved and holy mamas. Usually we say friend, but today it is beloved and holy mamas. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I love you so much. I appreciate everything that you've done, everything that you're still to do. Thank you, moms of the world. Aiden joining us as well today. Weirdly enough, I was thinking about you during my meditation today. I was like thinking about your melting experience, and I was like wondering if at this point you have managed to consolidate yourself. Man, I think my Reddit never went live, unfortunately. Isn't that unfortunate? Especially since I believe at least, we had a nice introduction. I'm gonna have to close the stream off and start over again. As we do, as we do sometimes. Fortunately, I have my title saved. It goes, "We all came from mom. Thank you, Mama Gaia. Thank you, Mamas of Gaia." Isn't that nice? I think so, at least. There we go. Second time's the charm, I guess. Reddit is up and running. It tells me it's up and running. It might be lying though. I'm trying to believe. Thank you, Reddit. Thank you, moms of Reddit. Indeed, and greetings upon you, beloved and what can I not word right now? Beloved and holy mamas. I appreciate you so much for finding yourself here. I appreciate you so much for everything that you do. It's working. Thank you, Shannon. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you for letting me know. Like, I feel a little bit flustered. Weirdly enough, the messages I received today wasn't exactly messages of mom. More messages of divine feminine, but not necessarily mom. And then, the message that I initially thought I was supposed to share today was one of, you don't find what you want, you find what you are. That is an understanding. Again, you don't find what you want, you find what you are. And I was like really feeling into that, and I was really thinking about that a lot today. And then, we got to do some yoga together. We got to say Happy Mother's Day to a beloved friend that was doing yoga with us. And I got to say, Happy Mother's Day to a friend who isn't necessarily a mother, but she has animals. And just that transmission, getting to hear her talk about her animals, getting to hear, or to see, if you will, into her fractal of being a mom, even though she's not necessarily a traditional mom, the energy of mom is very much present. And just that was so beautiful to me that I felt I'm supposed to stream about moms today, obviously. So I feel I could have come a little bit better prepared, but here we are. Thank you, moms of the world. Thank you, Diana, talking about moms of the world. Blessings to you. Thank you for joining us, friend. It's so nice to have you here. How are you? How are the kids? I hope they're treating you like absolute gold. I wish I could treat my mom, for something special, but I got to package rusks at least. That's something. That is something. That is something. I got to, listen to a book while helping my mom out. And as I'm listening to this book, and it was in that book that this resolute feeling, came over me again of, you don't find what you want, you find what you are, right? Like the whole, oh, I'm gonna go and find myself. Here you are, friend. Here you are, finding yourself. Look, open your eyes and look. And, with this open eyes and looking, I noticed that it's mom. Like we find ourselves on Mama Gaia right now. Mother Earth. She has birthed all of us, our moms included. And all of us came from moms. Isn't that surreal? One thing we do all have in common is that we came from moms. Thank you, mom. What a trip. What a trip to be here because of your mom. She literally gave herself as a vehicle for you to travel from the interdimensional to the dimensional. Excuse me? Yeah, isn't it trippy? Yeah, I've processed, I think. The mushrooms taught me some extent, there we go, existential humility, I think. It's still hard to explain how I feel about it, but it was refreshing to be reminded of how tiny the ego is. The ego is but fractions of fractions of fractions of fractions. But the thing is, they're fractions in the way where it makes itself look larger, right? So even though it's but fractions of the totality, it puts those fractions as very thin layers over the totality, giving the illusion that it is in fact the thing that has the most volume. But as soon as you just look past that little layer, you just melt that little layer away, you notice that there is an infinite more. Underneath all of those layers, it might have been obscure to you this whole time, Aiden. Uh, you don't have to be able to words it, but trying to feels good sometimes. Thank you, brother Aiden, for being here with us, for sharing this moment. I hope you get to tell your mom that you love her. Huh? Telling moms that you love her, please, please do. I don't know if there's any mom quotes in this one. Hmm. Maybe this one. I've read it before. I want to read one that I might not have read before. This one is pretty good. It goes, once you decide to wake up, you can never again pretend that life is only what you see through the senses. Once you decide to wake up, you can no longer pretend that life is only what you see through your senses. Ooh. Happy Mother's Day, Mariah! Thank you for joining us, beloved friend. Another mom, another mom. This stream is for you, beloved mom. Thank you so much for being a mom to your beautiful boys. Can't unring a bell, can't unring a bell. Can't unstir your coffee. Can't uninfinity the ocean. Like we are a part of that flow. Love you so much, my Melty. So much love to you as well, Diana. Thank you for being in this moment with me, for celebrating you with me. Oh goodness, I think I've missed a few. Nanshi, what are rusks? Rusks are almost like cookies, but not. Like imagine mini loaves of bread. You're like, melt, okay, continue. And then you take those mini loaves of bread, and then you put them in an oven, and then you dehydrate them completely. And then there are these small little bricks of sugar, eggs, vegetable oils, and flour. That's literally it. And then you take those little bricks and you dip them in your coffee and you can consume them like that. And it's very popular here in South Africa. It's like my mom's biggest seller. But unfortunately, with it being her biggest seller, it means I have to package lots of rusks. Lots of way more. Like, and I think about like streaming it sometimes, and I'm like, the fuck. You do realize that you're literally repeating the same three motions over and over again. You put rusks in bag, you weigh bag, you close bag. You put rusks in bag, you weigh bag, you close bag. Mercy. Not exactly, A-tier content, Mel, is it? And I'm like, fine. What's up with you, Guzzler? It's been a while, friend. Thank you for joining us again. Crying, saying vegetable oils. Like the real thing is, Shannon, and I do tell myself this as well, is I want to try and put as much love and goodness into the world. So the one part of myself that's unbalanced, the part that is completely egoically attached, if you will, sees me doing these, putting these rusks in, and I'm like, oh, these things are not good for you. I'm poisoning people out there somewhere in the world. I'm poisoning myself out there somewhere in the world. And then the other side of me is like, in this moment, I can, with positive intention, magic these rusks to be less damaging to the bodies that will be consuming them. And it's a whole trip. It's a whole trip, Shannon. Like it's weirdly enough another thing that I feel just happens to be the way that it is so that we can learn lessons. Yeah, I like that. The ego is just a small part of your consciousness, but it's stretched out so it has the most surface area, but it's fragile and thin. It's fragile and thin, and when people come and scratch at it, it starts to like it's so fragile and thin and like taut that someone scratching on your ego a little bit can cause these little tears, and then whoosh, all of this energy can come bursting out, you know. And sometimes it's always energy, but sometimes that energy gets turned into an outburst, a negative or aggressive outburst, and sometimes that energy gets turned into a conversation, you know, maybe a little bit of a discourse. I do the same thing. I know you would. That's why I'm so happy that I can share this as well. You understand. Transforming the material chemicals with love and trying to transform the energy. That's like legitimately what I try to do. I mean, I believe for my water. Unfortunately, like the reason I can convince myself it works that way with water is because I'm like, yes, you know, this water has like chemical structures, and depending on the temperatures that it finds itself at, it has like different states. So within different temperatures, different pressures, it can have different states. So it should potentially be able to have different states depending on the vibrations that flow through it. So by me telling my water that I love it, are there vibrations being caught within the water's lattice? Right, so I can like kind of jinx myself. I can like walk my logic, you know, take its hand and it's like, come here, logic. And my logic is like, nah, bro, please, you're crazy. And I'm like, no, but listen, listen. And then I try to do the exact same thing with the sugar, like flour and eggs and vegetable oils, and my mind has a harder time believing me. It's like, bro, you're gonna try the same shit. Like maybe just a little bit. Urbius Blur, friends, thank you. Mm. It's one damn planet. Yeah, she made us. That she did, scared little girl. Thank you for joining us, friend. Bro, it's not that deep. Women make kids, lol, get off drugs. Beetlejuice, it is that deep, friend. It really is that deep. Like, a woman, a mom, literally gives her life, potentially, in order for you to be. You know, like, if that is not the most beautiful, you know, sign of sacrifice, the most beautiful representation of what life does, what the mother does, you know, willing to let herself perish to have you. Like that is what it's about, friend. And it really is that deep. It really is that deep. You know, and you can be like, oh, my mom, you know, had unprotected sex and they got me by accident. How is that her giving a sacrifice, or how is that something special? Here you are, aren't you? Haven't you had special moments in your life? Haven't you had the opportunity to love? Haven't you had the opportunity to pet a dog, to smell a flower, to eat a delicious meal, to drink some water with a friend, to smoke a joint? Haven't you had these opportunities? Yes. Life. Mom, and right, like by extension, I think of planet Earth as mom as well, Mama Gaia. She gave you all of these things. She gave you the oxygen you're breathing right now. She gave you the food that it is you're eating. She gave you these, well, by extension, gave you the water that it is you're drinking. Even gave you the other people that you get to talk to. It's beautiful. Hey, Untitled is joining us as well. Thank you for joining us, friend. It's nice to have you here. In the end, it is an individual's decision what he'll buy and eat for his body. It's true, Melita. That's why, you know, I help my mom nonetheless. You know, it's not something that I'm going to not do because I'm saving someone out there, because they're just going to find it somewhere else. So I'm 100% there with you. In Animal Kingdom, motherhood, or rather fatherhood, if I remember correctly, means literally sacrificing their lives. It's true. It really is true. I mean, oh goodness. Like the one of the most horrific examples of that is a certain frog who lets the babies hatch out of her back. You know, like it's so horrific. It's something that absolutely devastates my consciousness of like, oh my, babies coming out of my back, literally, like just crawling out. And yet she's willing to suffer, she's willing to endure through that in order for her offspring to survive, for there to be more, for there to be love, for there to be the experience of frog, you know. And it's so beautiful, and yet it's horrific at the same time, right? Like it's such a contrast, and it's just again it shows us how beautiful life is. Why would there be why would anything be willing to go through suffering if life isn't worth living? Thank you, moms. Yo, thank you, moms. Such a trip. Mahatma Gaya even gave you your body through your mother, as above, so below. Exactly, Aiden. Like we are literally made of earth stuff. If you did an average, right? Like if you took a slice of all of the surface of the planet Earth and you analyze the chemical composition of that external slice of the Earth you took, and you get all of the primary elements, and you do the exact same thing for a whole human being. You turn them into goo, and then you analyze all of the things that make up their chemical being. They match. They match, Fred. You are Mother Earth. You are literally made of the same stuff as everything around you, as the person that you see in front of you, as your mom. And she gave her body for you to be. Literally. Literally. Like an actual portal. A portal into this physical realm of existence. How trippy. And like upon conception, is there a potentiality happening or something? Is there like a vacuum, you know, within biology? There is potential information that flows, and if there's information that flows, there should be something to observe it. And then as soon as there is information that flows, there becomes this vacuum of something to observe it, and as soon as that vacuum opens, choop, there it is. You. You. Aware. I just thought about how that mother frog did the same for her mother, right? That's it. That's it, you know, and it's like her realizing that it's her time to play her role as well. Happy Mother's Day, friends. Brother Isaac, thank you for joining us, Brother Bay. I hope you get to tell your mom that you love her. I hope you get to, you know, see Jasmine as a mom as well. You know, to see her attentive nature, to see her loving presence. Like it's such a trip. Like I can't even imagine. I still can't even imagine being a father. Like I legit cannot imagine it. I'm trying to, you know, and I feel I can imagine most things, but I can't imagine that. It's like it's not unlocked yet, you know. It's like in order to gain this information, be a dad. I'm like, fuck. I mean, can't I have like a trial run? It's like, no, fam. No. Only one way. You have to come to the other side. Good day to you, Mr. Meld. Hope you're doing well, Fash. Thank you for joining us, friend. It's nice to have you here. Doing even better now that you're here with us. Can't spend too much time here today. Going to see Grammy and Liza. Grammy's dog Halo passed 2 nights ago. Somber but love-filled day. I'm so sorry to hear that, Isaac. It seems a lot of beings feel like they've been here long enough, you know, and I'm noticing it a lot. And at one part of myself gets called to this awareness that I do still want to be alive. Like I spent a significant amount of time today thinking about the DMT experience I had on the 22nd of February. Like that was, it still is something that boggles my mind. You know, like my unwillingness to let go of Mama Gaia. You know, not maybe not unwillingness to let go, but my willingness to see myself and where it is we are right now as essential, you know, as like we're supposed to be here now. I'm not supposed to escape to somewhere else. I'm not expected to find information that isn't already here. We are so supported. It's kind of trippy. Sorry about that, Isaac. Thank you for the love. I appreciate that. Shannon, Thankful for all the moms that have been kind to me in this space. Thankful for the moms of the world doing beautiful work daily. Literally every single day. Like a mom is a full-time job, goodness. It's all right. Halo was old and you could see it coming. Sad but a reminder that we have the power to provide a lifetime of beauty, light and comfort for living beings. Halo was a happy puppy. Just that. Just that. Like that is what it's about. And I feel sometimes that I'm being insensitive by bringing that perspective. Like I don't see like death as a bad thing anymore. I just see death as, you being embraced by mom again, if you will. What's of most importance is the life that was lived. Being in celebration of that, realizing that that is where the true beauty lied. The threes, right? A birth, a life, and then a death. And you can choose to become attached to any one of those, but only one of them will really serve you. And that's for you to find out. What would have to be true to make the rusks with natural sugars and something like coconut oil or ghee double the price? Pretty much. Pretty much. We've had that conversation as well, Brother Ryan. Like that's the only alternative, is like doubling the price. And it's already technically expensive. I mean, it's expensive. It's like like maybe $4. $4 for a package, which has like 20 to 23 rusks in it. So I mean, you can do the math for yourself. I guess it's not that bad if you take it into consideration like that. But it's not cheap as it is. Like rusks are one of those items that people are willing to pay a little bit more for, but they're not willing to pay double the price that they're paying right now. Especially not if you tell them, oh, it's better because it has, animal fats in it instead of vegetable oils. And it's like, but why is it better? Oh, there's this thing called oxidation. And they're like, uh-huh, all right. Mm-hmm. Yes. And then as soon as the conversation is done, they're like, what the fuck did that dude just say? I'm pretty sure he said something important, but I was just nodding and like focusing on how much eye contact I was making. To not be awkward. Thank you though, Brother Ryan. Like it is something we legitimately considered, but unfortunately it is not practical at this point. And like the way that I envision it going into the future is my mom actually providing a, alternative to normally vegetable cooked baked goods and actually being able to cook them with like coconut oils. Coconut oil is actually pretty good. Coconut oils, natural sugars. Unfortunately, sugar is kind of sugar, like down to the most fundamental level. Even if it's fructose or glucose or sucrose, like whatever ose you want, when you eat it, it gets turned into glucose in your blood. So it's essentially sugar. And you don't want to spike that over and over again. I want a little small sticky stick, but unfortunately, I'm sitting in a place where my sticks are definitely going to be in short supply. I don't even know if this little shtick will hold up to the task. I have a job for you, shtick. You might die in service, but I appreciate your sacrifice. Instantly, the Farquaad memes come to my mind. Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. What an asshole. Oh, one world, not three. Mm. It's interesting you say that, Nancy. One world, not three. What exactly do you mean by that? Like my mind goes to a bunch of different places. The first place is I agree, but this mentality of three is something that is very present within humanity, right? Like it's everywhere. We have a past, we have a present, we have a future, we have a birth, we have a life, we have a death. We have a waking state, we have a falling asleep state, if you will, and then we have a sleeping state. And there's like these distinct differences in between each and every single one of these states for us. And we need three in order to recognize a pattern, right? Like it's when it's only two, you might realize that you're seeing yourself. But then if you have a third perspective, there's someone to confirm that what you're seeing is in fact yourself, right? And that's the whole trip. It's this one into two, two into three, three into everything. But on the most fundamental level, that three arose from mom. It's a whole paradox. Like potentiality, right? Like that's what I think mother energy is. It's pure potentiality. It's the receptivity, the canvas, the empty space within which something gets to occur. Nova? Nova himself! I've never thought I'll see this dude ever again in my life, and here he is. Nova, earliest flirt to you, brother bear. It's been like a few months at this point, dude. Thank you for being here now, in this moment, with us again. It's so nice having you here, dude. Monk fruit sweetener or coconut sugar. Okay. Thank you for those. They might work, but they'll still be sugar. They might be processed a little bit slower, which can help with, blood sugar spikes and stuff like that. I feel bad for not being in your streams. No, Nova. You're like, it's late where you are right now, dude. You should be the last person to ever feel bad. And nobody should ever feel bad. I'm just poking fun at you a little bit, dude. You are perfect just the way you are. The fact that you're here in this moment is what's important. I love and appreciate you. If you think about it, hey, who needs tears? Happy Mother's Day, friend. Nancy, I'm not sure if you're a mom, but happy Mother's Day to you as well, friend. If you think about it, mothers feed and house essential strangers. What a wonderful thing to do. What a beautiful gift. Literally. I mean, your baby is a stranger. We're, oh goodness, now I'm tripping out with a whole new fractal. Thank you for that, who needs tears. Like you're bringing the stranger into your house. And then as you keep feeding them, and you keep interacting with them, they become a person. They might have already been a person, and you could have influenced the person that they might have, how much of that person they might have become. But they were a person right from the get-go, right? Like there's a personality in each and every single one of us, depending on which part of ourselves flowed into that potential space, that void for consciousness to take up in. It brings with it some information. That soul is colored in a certain way, and it's pretty trippy. And doing all of that inside their bodies, literally. Goodness, what a trip! You're such a beautiful soul, my friend, and are making such a positive change in people's lives. As I said last week, I'm truly blessed to have stumbled upon your stream, especially being in a very dark place in life lately. I thank you so much, Terplus. Terpillus. Thank you, friend. Goodness. Like, yo, I want to screenshot that. That's how beautiful it is to me. Like, you're doing the same, friend. You just, in this moment, did the exact same thing that you're accusing me of, right? And kind of like, bringing the topic that I actually wanted to talk about today in, you don't find what you want, you find who you are. Like you didn't go out into the world and was like, I really want a Meltmore, like I need this random ass dude who lived a random ass life, to think a bunch of random ass things, to sit in a random ass place and have conversation about it. Like you could have never like elicited the complexity that is us in this moment right now. And in that whole trip, you didn't find what you wanted. You find who you are, friend. Like you are this. You are this love. You are this positivity. You are this change. And all you're seeing in me is that which is within you. The reason you see it in me is because it's within you. I love you, friend. Terpilus, you'll be fine, friend. I'll continue to show up. Promise me you'll continue to show up as well, right? Like if there's ever for me a social contract that I'll take up, it'll be that one. You continue living, I'll continue living, and then we'll continue living together. How about it? Huh? How about it? I look forward to living with you, friend. Mm-mm. Not more. Feel bad. You're actually streamed early today at 12 a.m. Okay, it's not too late, but it's still kind of late, Nova. That's usually my bedtime. Coconut sugar has a low glycemic index. Thank you for letting me know. Maybe that would be it. Coconut oil, coconut sugar. You're still gonna use flour. Maybe you can use brown flour. So like upping the glycemic index of that as well a little bit. And then eggs you're gonna be fine with. Like there are ways. There are definitely ways. The ways are just paved with obstacles. Mostly financial obstacles. And like my mom, at least the dream that my mom has shared with me is that she wants to be able to design and make clothing for kids, and one of my dreams for Melkmore, for the brand, if you will, is to be able to make clothing that one is going to be comfortable, two is going to be something that you want to wear, and three something that you don't have to buy again. Like one of the big core beliefs I have, and that's why I really haven't even attempted to start a merch line yet, is because of that. Like I want to make something that you only have to buy once, like every 10 years, ideally. Like it should be something that you can keep and you can wear it over and over again, and it won't get wrecked within like a year or whatever. Something that you can keep. And I would like one of my biggest dreams is to be able to provide a platform for my mom to be able to do that, to be able to actually create clothing, right? Like, and I told her this directly, in the spirit of manifestation, that I look forward to one day employing her to design clothing, because I feel like that is something that she really enjoys doing. My mom makes her own clothes, for example. Like, you've seen her in clothes that she's made for herself. And like I watch her sometimes, like she buys a two-dimensional sheet of material and then she turns it into a three-dimensional wearable object. And I'm just in awe of like the fantastical power of my mom and being able to do something like that. So being able to provide for her a fractal within which she gets to express her true essence is something that I really look forward to being able to do. I think it's going to take us a few years though. One, not necessarily because I can't do it right now, but more so because I would love, really, really love. And a part of me is starting to think about maybe doing something in an attempt to actually fund the actual thing that it is I want to do. Backtracking a little bit. But I would like to be able to make authentic hemp clothing, right? Like actual 100% hemp clothing. Hemp is significantly better for the environment than cotton. Pretty much any synthetic fiber as well. It's great for the soil. It doesn't need pesticides, doesn't need fertilizer, doesn't use a lot of water. It uses, I think, something like 10% or like 5% of the water that a normal cotton crop uses. So it's fantastic for the environment. It's like a massive carbon sequester as well. Like you can, I think, within 6 months, with the same amount of land surface area, capture more carbon in 6 months with cannabis plants than you can capture with trees in 10 years. 6 months, X amount of carbon for cannabis, 10 years, X amount of carbon for trees. And just like that, I genuinely believe we're gonna save this planet. And I feel like that could be it won't be saving the planet, but it would be in the direction of trying to save the planet instead of raping the planet, raping Mama Gaia for her resources, to provide resources that will actually help her utilize the resources we've been given more efficiently. Mm-hmm. There's no different flowers. I think I missed a few. What exactly is a spiritual awakening? I feel that is a question that I can't necessarily answer with any genuine certainty, Nova. But if I had to try, I think a spiritual awakening is when you realize you're more than just a body. All right? Like, as soon as you are willing to accept that I am more than just this fleshy thing that I see when I look in the mirror, that is the spiritual awakening, in my opinion. There's so many different flours out there now if you want to make them gluten free. Like, fortunately, people don't really seem to mind gluten that much. I have clothes from 20 or more years. Yes, that's the way it should be. I've handed them to my kiddos. It's not fast fashion like now. it hurts me. It really hurts me because again, it's this mentality of like you are not good enough, right? Like sure, you bought a bunch of clothing last year, but now that clothing is no longer in style, so now you have to buy new clothing. But sure, your clothing is no, still very wearable, but people saw you in it. How dare they? How dare they see you wearing the clothes that you bought for yourself, right? And then now you have to go and buy new ones, and now you have to go and like throw these away. Like, oh, it's just not sustainable. So in my mind, in the way that I see us going into the future, I see us wearing these beautiful robes, you know, like, and I have ridiculously high expectations in my mind of what I want the clothing that I would like to be able to provide for the world and for myself to look like. And I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but it's pretty in my head. You know, like being able to. So this is one of the ideas. So using hemp fibers, sure, but then to create materials from different strands, like thicknesses, different colors, so to create like textures within the fiber as well, and then to sew them together in little, you know, fractal patterns that kind of like use the colors in a certain mosaic way. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does, but I can see it in my head. And hopefully, like one of the biggest things that I hope, again, as you're saying, to be able to wear these pieces of clothing for years and for them to be comfortable and for them to be something that you can actually cherish. It's like, yeah, I'm proud to be wearing this piece of clothing. To be able to brag, you know, to be like, yes, I like what you're wearing. It's like, thank you. I've been wearing it for 9 years now. It's like, 9 years? How much has that clothes seen? Like, you have no idea. This piece of clothing that I'm wearing has seen more than certain children on this planet. How about that? Oh, it's not easy. The fast fashion, like, no. I would buy the clothes if you're going to sell one day. Nova, me too, friend. Thank you for being willing to support even the idea. I appreciate it so much. So cool for your mom. That's so dope. It's gonna happen, Diana. It's just a matter of time. I look forward to it. Hemp clothing, so much love. Hemp is a bioaccumulator. It has the ability to capture carbon emissions, a lot of them. You're right, Shannon, like a lot of carbon emissions as well. Love you, friends, and love your mamas. Getting brunch with mine now, and sending love to you all. Send love to your mom, Jovan. Tell her random strangers from the internet, saying she loves her for being your mom, you know, and for by momming you, getting to have you in this world. So thank you, Jovan, for being here, and thank you for loving your mom for that as well. I appreciate it so much. I have packed this bowl like so long ago, and for some reason I'm scared of it. I'm going to smoke it with the intention of thinking of mother energy. You know, like we even call the marijuana plant Mary Jane. Again, that feminine energy. And I've thought about it for the longest time in that way, where I used to be a very angry individual. I just felt like there were so many things that are messed up with the world. And instead of being willing to look at myself and realize that the reason the world is as messed up as it is because of things I have present in myself as well, and I was like trying to project that anger outwards, I believe at least that marijuana helped be the softer side of myself. You know, it was like the feminine energy calming me down a little bit, allowing me to love myself and be a little bit less angry. Maybe let go of the anger for a moment even. So to that feminine energy. Oh my Gaia. I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I just wear whatever is comfortable. That's what's most important, Nova. You know, like if you're gonna wear something, you want to be comfortable in it. Every ton of hemp harvested, over 6.1 tons of carbon dioxide is pulled out of the atmosphere. Isn't it freaking awesome? It makes me so happy just to hear those things. Like I genuinely believe it's something that we like yo, I'm having so many fractals being elicited. What I'm thinking about is the people, that initially made these things illegal because it was cutting into their bottom lines. And where we are now, how far we've been put back by, greedy individuals who would rather hurt Mother Earth than utilize a technology that could benefit Mother Earth, because the way that they're hurting Mother Earth is profiting them, specifically them in that moment, and then trying to perpetuate that suffering for Mother Earth, to try and make as money much as to try and make as much money as possible. And I got to hear this beautiful insight today of thinking as life as a lottery slash casino, right? Where as soon as you're born, you find yourself in this casino, and wherever you are, whatever person you are, whatever household, country, social situation, financial situation, etc., 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 you find yourself in, is like you finding yourself at a table with a certain amount of chips, with a certain amount of people around you, etc., etc., etc. And then you have to play the game of life. You have to use the chips that you've been given. You have to use the cards that you've been given, and you have to play the game. You have to live life, and then you get to play this game, and you get to maybe accumulate all of these chips, and you have like this whole stack of chips in front of you, and the game comes to an end, and death stands next to you and is like, okay, dude, time to leave the casino and go back to spirit, a complete oneness. Like, you're no longer going to play this game. You're going to be the thing that is the creator of the game again. And then you stand up and you leave all of your chips on the table, and those chips get pushed back into the middle of the table, and it gets redistributed to the next people that are coming and sitting at that same table, be it in the house that you used to live in, be it in the piece of land you used to own, be it the company that you used to run, be it the job that you used to work, be it the etc., etc., etc. We can't take anything. We cannot take anything from Mother Earth. And yet she gives us everything. To see yourself as everything. To seek everything. Not because you want it, but because you know that you are that. You don't find what you want, you find what you are. So see yourself as everything. It's so beautifully simple and yet ultimately complex. The details are ultimately complex, but the fundamentals are so simple. Loving you, so much love. Hanging out on the porch with my weed sprout. He's growing so well. Don't you dare manifest him to be a him. I need to name him. Like, you don't want him to be a him. That's the thing, Isaac. You want it to be a female. If it's not a female, you're gonna get little like flowery balls. Like, and they're not even fantastical flowers. Like, I think I would have been a little bit more compassionate towards male marijuana plants if they had these beautiful, fantastical floral arrangements, But unfortunately, they're just these little hanging little balls, with these little green packages, and then they open up and they start like eating tons of spores. So you wanted to be a female, thinking Scout the Sprout. Thinking Scout the Sprout, I like that. Scout does sound cool. I guess that could be, unisex as well. Sprout is so cute. It really is. Hemp also cleans up the soil, returning 42% of the nutrients back to the soil. Beautiful point as well. So what we know about hemp right now is that it can be a great intermediary crop, where you have like maize or cotton or whatever you like, beans you want to plant on your land, and it can be something that hurts your soil if you keep doing that over and over again. So by switching out, planting cannabis plants or hemp plants one year and then another plant another year, you're actually giving the soil more than you're taking away from it. Thank you, she's perfect. There we go. Like Scout from To Kill a Mockingbird. I read To Kill a Mockingbird in grade 8, and as soon as I tried to elicit information from To Kill a Mockingbird, I realized that my brain has removed a lot of the fractals that I used to have attached to the information that was there. Some of it remains, but it's like, imagine walking in on a post-apocalyptic grocery store, right? Like some broken cans, some magazines, some empty wrappers kind of like floating as the wind blows in. Like that is what the fractal of To Kill a Mockingbird looks like right now. So I can't even remember it, Scott. Thank you though for that, but the bay. Melt for one world, not three. I was referring to the concept of the third world. Oh, there we go. Which I find puts a lot of people in a category of less than the first world. That's a beautiful point as well. Thank you for saying that, Nanshi. I didn't even think about that at all. So I really appreciate me asking and you willing to tell me what you meant, friend. Thank you for allowing me to learn with you. Hey, Frankie Marie and Lisa is joining us. Even Lane, Brother Bay, sorry for missing you for so long. It's nice to have you here as well. Lisa is saying happy day. 493, lovely beings, melt. Happy Mother's Day, and the moms here. Take a moment for yourself today to breathe. You deserve it. I love you all. Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate that. Love you, friend. Thank you for joining us. I think monk fruit also has a low glycemic index. Thank you for that. Who needs tears? Like I don't. Like, the big thing as well. Like living in South Africa, those niche like ingredients are very hard to come by as well. Mommy, happy Mother's Day. Like I feel if there's anybody who deserves a Mother's Day stream, it's Mammy. Like Mammy is like the archetype of a super mom as well. Thank you for joining us, Mammy. It's so nice to have you here, friend. Beloved mother. Mother. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? I am neither good nor bad. Morality is a social construct. I am simply dog. Wanna go for a walk? Yes, please. Do you think aliens will find remnants of our civilization and take things like comic books and novels as all reality? Schnipp schlorp, these humans were really hiding out, wilding out. And they had dragons, space travel, and Spider-Man. Like, these dudes like tripping out because they also have a Spider-Man. You know, like, kind of like hinting at the whole multiverse concept. They also have a Spider-Man. I'm like, what the fuck? These humans have a Spider-Man as well. So it is like, what do you think? Do they have like our Spider-Man, and like their Spider-Man is just like some dweeb in a like costume or something? You know, like maybe he does like rants on the internet. Or like, do you think they actually had like a super powered super like Spider-Man, and it's like, well, they had so many comics, you know. Like it must be. Like look at like all of these depictions. They couldn't imagine this, could they? No. That's impossible. It has to be real. It had to capture it in real time. Dude, like I would love to actually like mess with an alien a little bit. I don't know if your friends have seen it. I think it's called Paul. It's just called Paul. It's this movie about an alien as well. And I feel that has been the most beautiful interpretation of what an alien actually would be like. You know, pompous, little bit of an asshole, very fun going, you know, knows way more than is necessary to be known, and then because of that knowing, suffering, and then because of that suffering, trying to escape suffering, and it's beautiful. It really is a beautiful movie as well. Lord of the Rings, the Bible. Paul is a god tier stoner comedy. Yes, there we go. It is a stoner comedy, but all of these movies, I believe, have so much philosophy in them, and they give us an opportunity to again look at certain parts of ourselves, and like we get to see, you know, like that movie goes into a lot of different perspectives. Yes, like I need to watch it again. I think it's been like years since I've seen it last. The Divine Feminine. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it big. I want to know if aliens have a Buddha. I'm sure they do, actually, dude. I'm sure they have a Jesus as well. Like I'm ironic about that as well. And I've had that conversation. I've actually had the conversation with my dad, where I'm like, Dad, you do realize that if there were to be hyper intelligent civilizations, you know, alien civilizations out there somewhere in the universe, among them there will be individuals that will be more in tune, feel into divinity, realize consciousness to more extent than others. And because of that realization, they'll share certain profound truths that are fundamental truths about our universe. And because of their willingness to share these fundamental truths, they will be, potentially seen as martyrs or messiahs or, figures of worship or etc., etc., etc. And it doesn't make it right. It doesn't mean that I now have to start believing in Planet Luke Larp's Zwamzam, because Zwamzam knew 50,000 years ago that Shlim Shlam is going to come. Yes, sure, within that fractal, it can be a way of seeing things, but it's fundamentally it's consciousness. It is this current moment awareness that is within all of us. And it's from this current moment awareness that all information flows to, all information flows through. And all that we're doing here is just allowing that information to flow amongst one another, to be able to bounce it back and forth. So I feel I've like thought about that a lot. So thank you so much, Aiden, for bringing that, contemplation. I want Paul to touch my forehead. Give me the Aldrich knowledge, dude. Like, oh my goodness. I think while you were typing that message, I was imagining him touching that chick's mind and going through that whole sequence and like the monkey banging scene and like I was going through that whole thing, and then I read that comment, dude. So I feel like maybe we've already had some of that Aldrich knowledge download. I really wanted aliens to have super obscure kinks, thinking our ways, like kissing and hugging are so weird. There's like, you touch one another? You do realize that causes sensation, right? Like instead of just being comfortable, you are now pressing up against another entity and you can feel their heat. You can smell their breath. You can see their imperfections up close and you can really distinguish all of the pores and little cracks they have in there. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you touch one another? It's like, the fuck am I? Am I wrong? And it's like, bitch, I have this oxytocin molecule. It gives me feel goods if I touch things. And it's like, oh, all right. Try some oxytocin. It's like, oh, I get it. Literally, because of their ability to communicate with us, maybe they could communicate with us through chemicals, or we could communicate something to them through chemicals, and maybe we could teach aliens love. Mind blown. I don't know. Maybe it's like a little bit of stoner mentality, but maybe, who knows? Maybe oxytocin never evolved on a certain planet, so they never wanted affection. Maybe they took super long to evolve because moms kept killing their babies because they never had affection for them. Maybe not killing them, maybe just like leaving them or abandoning them, when it became too much of an asshole. Like my mind is like, oh yeah, you want fractals? It's like, please stop. Thank you. Enough of the aliens. I wish God could take me away. Nova, take you where? Where do you think you're gonna go? You're still gonna be here. Maybe not here in this body, here in this space, but you're still going to be here. In this moment, this awareness, this presence, this I know I am. It's not I think, therefore I am. It is I am, therefore I think, dude. So you even thinking, yes, I want God to take me somewhere else. Is you, as God, taking yourself somewhere else? Because instead of being here, now you're there. Even in imagination. You can't be anywhere else, Brother Bay. I'm sorry to say, but you're here. And it's good. It's good. You chose to be here, Nova. Thank you, Brother Bay. Thank you for trying, at least, to be in this moment with me. Taking responsibility for us being here is the only thing that we can do. Y'all don't exchange plumbous fluid as a sign of brotherhood. You wiggle your grabby appendages together. Disgusting. This is tripping me. Is out. Dude, me too. Like, and I'm happy that you actually brought that, friend, so now we can think about it a little bit. I wonder why we are souls in fleshy meat, bloody suits. So, and there's a beautiful way to think about this, and Alan Watts actually had a whole lecture about it. You can think of it as ultimate awareness, like this awareness that you're experiencing without any limitation, right? So as you experience something, right? Like let's just picture imagination as one of these things that you can experience, for example, imagining your dream home, right? In your dream location, where with the dream weather right now, and the sun being at the ideal location, right? Like all of these ambiguous terms. Just by doing that, I have now created within each and every single one of us a vastly different little imagination, a whole little world. With ultimate awareness, you can't see anything else but all of it, the ultimate infinity. So instead of having a certain perspective, and giving all of these ambiguous terms like ideal location, ideal house, ideal weather, sun at the ideal position. It's all of it, all of the houses, all of the places, all of the weather conditions at the same time, right? And that is great and all, and it's fantastic being that aware until it's not. Until you've experienced everything that there is to experience and you want to experience the inexperienced. This moment. This moment, Nova, there's nothing else to have. You are everything. And this is one of the things that you wanted within that everything. Why? Why if you didn't want it? Not why if it wasn't important for you to have it? You matter, friend. You matter, Brother Bear. You're supposed to be here. You have a purpose, friend. Yes, you do. Isaac is approaching Adam Isaac. I love that so much. Are we the soul or the mind or both? Yes. Yes, Nova. Gosh, I love you, friends. As I do you, Shannon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nova. You are loved, friend. You are so loved. Your presence has made my day better, friend. Thank you for that. And unironically, Nova, I feel like I'm flowing right now. I feel like, again, this information, it's not me. Surely it's me making the sounds, but it's not this. It's not this, dude. And you being in this moment with me, instead of me just being this, me just being in this present moment, looking at trees, which is a beautiful experience, I get to have this moment of flow with you. And truths that are on my heart wants to be expressed. You, as that truth, dude, you allowing that truth to flow. So thank you so much, Nova. Thank you so much. Those feelings you're having, you are meant to be having. Listen through it. You will arrive exactly where you should be in the next moment. You belong here and you belong in love. Sending love to Nova. Thank you so much, friends. This is it. You are it. Your presence. Fash, love to you again, friend. Your mama sounds awesome and very creative. She is a superstar. Like, I'm definitely... Rather, I should dedicate most of my stuff, right? Like the little fractals that I notice that I like in the universe, she has shown me. I feel in a lot of ways that my dad showed me fractals that I like as well, but significantly less. And I feel like that is something that bothers me in a lot of ways. Like maybe that's the way it was supposed to be, like both sides of that contrast. One side was being able to be shown fractals that I want to identify with, and on the other side being shown fractals that I feel I should avoid. And because of those combinations, who we are. So my mom is a superstar to me who needs tears. Mother's Day, indeed, is one and all. We celebrate Mother's Day in March in Ireland and the UK, but I will happily accept the love today. Send you even more love. Mammy, thank you. Thank you for being willing. You deserve it. She all of that and so beautiful too. She's amazing. Thank you so much, Manny, for the love as well. I'll be sure to transfer your love to her friends. A mother's role in someone's life. It is surreal. My spiritual brother, I appreciate you beyond words, and I give you my word that I will continue to connect with you and keep trying my best to find purpose in life. Your pillars, you're the purpose, friend. You, in this moment, that's the purpose. Not to be anywhere else, not to seek anything else. You, as the miracle of the universe, as the purpose, friend. I love you so much. I look forward to seeing you a lot more, you know, into infinity and beyond, Turpilis. Yes, this too, and those who are mothers to the furballs too. Absolutely. Our mouth is going mushy on us. Mushy, 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 mushy. I feel a little bit mushy, Mammy. It's making me happy though. There's Peppy behind you. Hello, Peppy. People are saying hello to you, Peppy Long Stockings. Ooh, hello, hello. People are saying hello, hello. Huh? Something there? Go and find out. Meowdy Melty! Meowdy to you! Sovina, thank you for joining us, friend. After connecting last week, my brother, I cannot explain the feeling that came over me after embracing your wisdom and conversation. You honor me, friend. Thank you so much. So much love to you as well. Remember that it's you. That is the thing, friend. Like, sure, you allowed yourself to connect in the space with the conversation, but you're the one feeling. You are the one eliciting that response. You are the one of that interconnectivity. Angel, thank you for joining us, friend. It's nice to have you here. It's a great feeling, isn't it? Hope you're well. I felt a sense of purpose from a connection of a beautiful soul that I haven't felt in a very long time. And I thank the universe for you, my brother. Thank you so much. I saw, I guess it's a spade. It was like a little, almost like a apple stem coming out of a heart, and then that heart being surrounded by what looked like a technological version of that same shape. So it was like this kind of like basic, almost like vector image outline, and then it was this technological, rugged kind of texturized version of that, friend. Sending you love, Terpillus. Thank you so much, friend. I'm happy I got to spend time here with you and all who appreciate you, Mel. Thank you, Nami, for being one of those people, friend. Crop no, crop rotation is so important. It really is. If we're like, we have to start bringing these sustainability efforts into our lives. Otherwise, we're setting ourselves up for failure. Let me say it that way. Tell Melt Mama, happy Mother's Day from me. I'll be sure to. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much for the love for the day. Be sure to tell both your mom and the mom you have as a partner in your life, happy Mother's Day. From Melt. So much love to you. This is stripping me out. Nowhere else would this happen to me, and I feel it makes me feel seen. Thank you. This makes me happy to hear. I'm not sure what my purpose is to find out. I appreciate you and your words. Thank you, Nova. Thank you, friend. I'm sure you're gonna play a role, dude. This point of turmoil, this mess, right, is going to be your message. This difficulty is going to give you the skill set to be who you need to be. This obstacle is going to equip you with the skill to be able to traverse these obstacles, maybe to teach others how to climb those particular obstacles. You matter, Nova. You matter. Just you in this moment is what's the purpose, dude. You don't have to do anything else. Just be you, friend. Dear all, we're all connected through Gaia. Happy Mother's Day. Just got a text from a friend that her dog had passed, so going to check in with her. And thank you for being willing to spend time with your friend. Always very grounded, even in the stratosphere. Lipstick band. Trying to be, right? Like, realizing that there is this infinity, the infinity at the top, which is the spirit, and then the infinity at the bottom, that is nature. And then trying to be situated within nature and trying to live through spirit. It can be an experience. Thank you for finding yourself grounded in this moment with me. even if it's just a bit lipstick. Okay, I'm sorry for you, friend. Hope she will be okay. It's hard to say goodbye to our four-legged friends. They give us so much joy and comfort. They're friends, like just that. Never mind the joy and comfort. It's like this entity that you know and love, right? Like when you think about your dog, you have all of these little fractals that get elicited of like, oh, my dog eats in this certain way, or asks for food or treats in this certain way, looks at me in this way if I have something in my hand, asks for a toy or a treat or for scritches in this way, reacts this way if I give him ear scritches. Like, it's a friend. You have all of these little attachments to the beauty of this being, and you getting to interact with that being, having this relationship with the being. That's the most devastating thing about losing a puppy for me, is that you're actually losing a friend. It's it's not just a dog, right? And you can think of it as a child as well. But the only lesson that I found really helped was, like Frank Ostaseski's The Five Invitations. One of the things that he taught is that if you're constantly like, and this sounds like a big yikes to say, even in thinking about it, so do bear with me. If you're constantly living into a place of grief and perpetuating that, you're being selfish. And he goes out and says something like that. And the reason you're being selfish is because you're creating this attachment to something that was, no longer is, believing somehow that if it was, something would be different, right? That you would be happier, that everything would be okay. But that being no longer being here, maybe they're somewhere else where they're absolutely needed right now. And if you held onto them for a second longer, there could have been thousands of years of turmoil in another world potentially, right? Like just as an imagination, you holding on to that entity, holding on to that pain instead of celebrating the life that was lived, is a selfish act. And when I read that, and when I really kind of like, I was like at first, a little bit offended by the notion, and I spent some time with it, and I felt that there is truth to it. There is truth to it to some context. It's okay to grieve. Like that's not what I'm saying like or advising against. It's just when we become attached to that state of grieving, when we become identified with the griever, and we no longer see ourselves as the living. We no longer celebrate the living in that way, because that's, I think, one of the ultimate things that I want to have done if I ever to pass, is to be celebrated, not to be mourned. To have like a whole party, feed people mushrooms, and then play amazing music and dance the night away in celebration of a life that was lived, instead of being dreary and being like, oh, this is the end of the world. Oh, this person had so much more life to live. No, 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 no. No. Life was lived. Here we are, living life. And even if this moment was to end, I have lived a whole life, because this is life being lived. It's been lived. Here it is, being lived. It is so trippy. It is so trippy, but we get so attached to a certain time frame. Things need to be in one way or another. Creating separation. It's funny because I've been facing these difficulties and messes since childhood. I wonder why sometimes. Nova, if anybody knows, it's gonna be you, friend. It's gonna be you. No, I know exactly how you feel. My heart's so happy that you are here with us. We don't have to go through this journey alone. We cannot help you heal, but you don't have to do it alone. Right? That is the quote. So you're like, huh? Yes. We cannot, move your arms and legs for you to exercise. We cannot chew with your face good food. We cannot knock you out and sleep early enough. We cannot close your eyes, strangle you only lightly to meditate you. But we can be here with you while you do that for yourself. And that is the support we, offer one another. just to be an ear to listen, to be a mirror to reflect in sometimes. You are loved, Nova. You got this, dude. You just have to keep showing up for yourself first. Keep showing up for yourself. Okay, I'm so sorry for your friend. Again, thank you for the love, friend. If Aunt B was here, she would say, please remember to report any unwanted comments to help the moderator team. I feel like all of the comments have been very wanted. Thank you though, Mammy. I appreciate it so much, my friend. No, Bob, I think I melt more. I love you, Eden. Thank you for joining me, friend. It's so nice to have you here. When a message gets two reports, automatically gets removed. That's right. Yay, Ninja Nanner joining us as well. So cool having you, Corey. You might be lipstick. No, I am, but awareness, as you are as well, friend. You know, we're not that different. We're not that different, friend. I just happen to be here, and you happen to be where you are. That's really the only difference. Who knows, how far we really are separated. And if you really think about it, realizing that we never have been. We're just this awareness, friend. Like the way. So, if you were to live my life, my whole life, and then you had to arrive in this moment with me, and we look down at now our hands, we're seeing the exact same thing right now, friend. Right? Even if you just want to do it in that way, look down at your hands right now. Close them, open them back up again. Maybe rub them against each other a little bit. Same, but different. But still same. Happy, so much love to you. What's your dog's name? The puppy I have sitting on my lap every now and then is called Pippi Lipstick. Mel reads all the comments, so it takes a while before he gets through them all. Dog's name is Pippi. Thank you for that, Mammy. I appreciate that. Helio joining us with the helpful. Thank you for joining us, friend. It's so nice to have you here. Thank you. Thank you for being helpful in this moment. I hope you get extra love from your little fruit cup today, man. Happy Mother's Day, Eden. Thank you for reminding me, actually, Mammy. Happy Mother's Day. This whole stream is in celebration of all of the moms. So thank you so much, Eden, for being such a beautiful mom yourself. I still can't believe you've been streaming for nearly an hour. Time flies by so fast. It really does. I wonder about that sometimes. Where, like, there are moments in these streams where I'm completely time dilated, where like an hour and 18 minutes passed, and I'm like, oh yeah, time, sick. And then sometimes where it's a little bit more difficult to get into that state of flow, and I'm like, what is the time? It's weird. It's weird because it doesn't really matter. The birds in the stream are so chirpy. I love it. They are pretty chirpy. Maybe they're having a chat about the weather right now. They're like, what the hell's going on, dude? I thought it was gonna rain. And now it didn't, like there was like a few drops that fell and nothing else? Really? Can you believe it? No, I can't believe it. I was like betting. I bet like the next three worms I catch. I don't know, Mammy, but it makes me happy to listen to that. Meltmore, MDMAC. Thank you for joining us, friend. It's so nice to have you here. How are you doing? So glad to see you. So glad to have you here, Brother Bear. Thank you for the wholesome. I appreciate it, Tahoe. So much love to you as well, Brother Bear. El Kronos. Thank you for dropping a fat plat on the stream, dude. It's very nice of you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for sharing love, Brother Bear. Drove 9 hours with Helio to see Mom and give her my reliable car so that she can be mobile. Happy Mother's Day all around, y'all. Celebrate them mamas. Tahoe. I see and honor and love you for seeing and honoring and loving your mom, Brother Ben. Thank you so much for doing that. I cannot even imagine how much it must mean to her. And just imagining it, just feeling what that imagined meaning could feel like, I'm just like, thank you for doing that. I appreciate you so much, Brother Ben. I can only imagine. She was beyond excited. Pretty great to be a catalyst for such joy. And that's what you are, dude. Like, and it's such a trip, you know, it's such a trip. Like, she literally gave her entire being for you. Like, she was a catalyst for your entire being, for you to experience all of the joy you ever have. And now you get to do the same in an abstract way, and yet it still is that exchange, you know, that recognition of both sides of the infinity, Tahoe. Thank you for doing that, Brother Bear. That's beautiful. Thank you for being willing to share it with us. One of the best feelings. Boom. Wholesomeness in the form of Platinum Award. Alkramas. I always love stumbling across the stream. I do them every day. L. You know, you don't have to come and drop fat plats every day. Like, just your presence would be, you know, worth infinity. So, thank you for being here for a moment, Yvonne. The beauty of Reddit, eh? Right? Like, Reddit is quite something. You know, like this. Like, there's parts of me that knows. Parts of me, I say. uh, I know it's not the best platform to really, right, really become popular when it comes to content creation. The platform you want to be on right now is TikTok. YouTube Shorts are like trying. Streaming on YouTube might become a little bit bigger, you know, as we continue on. But yeah. And even though I know that, I prefer Reddit, you know, 10 times over because of you friends, because of this moment. Just this what we have right now isn't anywhere else. Like, I feel Reddit somehow got that right, and I say Reddit got it right, but I feel it's the people, the type of individual that Reddit attracts, the type of individual that we attracted, you know, that and eventually came into this space. Because people that use Reddit tend to be a little bit more active with their content choices. That's the way I want to verbalize it. You know, they choose what they want to see. Where with all of the other social medias, you're being catered to with an algorithm. And the algorithm is basically trying to optimize itself to keep you there as long as possible. Where Reddit is definitely doing that as well. But it's doing so to a lesser extent. Or at least to less of a detriment of the user. And that's why I chose to actually start, you know, streaming on this platform, because I feel like it is the one that I resonate the most with. And just again, having these moments, like Reddit is something. Like we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Reddit right now. So thank you, Reddit. It's cool that we have this tech. Thank you, Ninja Nanner, for the seal of approval, Brother Bear. To the birds chirping. To every mom bird that has ever made a little chirp to her little baby birds. Part of me doesn't want to share this because it's, you know, my ego wants to get in the way. Part of me wants to share it because I want to be kept accountable. So I plan on fasting again, starting from tomorrow, because I'm starting my yoga teacher training again. And alongside it, I plan to completely abstain from weed again. Oh, I was about to say I want to abstain from caffeine as well, but I'm like, bruh, you're gonna be up until like 3 a.m. With classes, and you want to stop drinking coffee now? Fine, I'll keep coffee for now, but I want to take a break a little bit again. You know, like I feel I could do it could do me some good to just fast again, just give my body some time to actually do its own thing. Lots of love. I was orphaned as a baby and adopted by a terrible family, but eventually found my way to my true mother. My childhood best friend's mother took me in like one of her own. Truly an incredible woman. Love to all of the moms. Lydia, thank you for honoring moms in that way. You know, thank you for, in this moment, eliciting the information that you can be a mom without being a mom. Right? At least directly. Thank you for doing the same. Thank you for sharing that truth. Thank you for choosing love, regardless of your upbringing, regardless of the stepmom that you got, you still get to see the love in moms. And I appreciate you so much for that. So much love to you. Best moms are the ones that treat others as their own, absolutely. What a journey. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm happy that you found loving people or that they found you. Like attracts like. You don't find what you want, you find who you are. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you for sharing your truth, friend. The chirping seems to intensify. Yeah, they were like, oh, this dude is talking about us. Like, they were maybe like screaming at me that I'm getting it wrong. They were like, stop blaspheming! Hearsay! Hearsay stream! Hearsay! He's lying! We're not saying that! Thank you for being you, for choosing love when you had other choices. More synchronicities. Thank you, Brother Bear. I love the use of Reddit too, one of the many amazing uses of technology. We could be doing anything, and instead we're sharing love. Thank you, friends. Oh, fasting and wheat break and no coffee. Please keep the coffee. I think I'm gonna keep the coffee, Manny. Just to be like a little bit gentle on myself. Fortunately, weirdly enough, it's not difficult, like abstaining from food and weed at the same time, because they almost complement one another. In the same way that weed and overeating can complement one another, we not no weed and no eating can complement one another. Oh, so like, but the coffee, you, that is a bit, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Brave is the initial word, but brave isn't the thing that I'm thinking about. Maybe ambitious. That's the one. That's a bit ambitious. You don't find what you want. You find who you are. Meltmore quote of the day. It's not mine. It is Neville Goddard, I believe, is the book that I heard from. But I mean, we've shared that understanding roughly in the stream, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mammy. Like, that's the one thing. Like naming people, sure, it's cool, and like we can honor people in that. But Neville Goddard wrote those words in 1944, right? Like that dude knew in 1944, but you know now, right? And you've known that then. And Neville has been in the ground for a long time now, I believe. So is he gonna care that I don't make sure that I quote him? I did quote him. So if you were gonna do like a barrel roll in your your chest, now you don't have to, dude. But yeah, that's just like a little bit of a tidbit. How much, and I think about Marcus Aurelius in that way as well. Like he was one of the people that was very aware of that. Like he would like tune people, like where Augustus's trial was like a whole big ordeal, and people kept using that as like a pain point. Like, oh yeah, this thing, oh, no, we can't so and so because this thing, and then he would just like drop like, oh yeah, Augustus and his family and his friends and the people in court and his servants and the people that hated him and the people that loved him, and he goes like, goes into this rant, and he stops the rant and he's like, they're all dead. And who do you think thinks of them? He says, who do you think remembers? And I'm like, yo, see, Marcus Aurelius, chillax, oh. He's a little bit more hardcore with it, but I feel that way as well. Like sometimes we attach so much meaning to dogma that we don't allow ourselves truth in this moment. We don't allow ourselves to speak truth to ourselves in this moment because, others have said so and so. No weed equals no munching. Yes, weed equals much, much time. Got it. I mean, yes, exactly. Exactly articulated in that way. I appreciate you, friends, so much. Thank you for joining me. I know I won't have faith. Wait a second. Let him alone. Goes for once. Gently billions of people at once. But I feel like it doesn't matter. And that's okay. Okay, at least we aren't alone. Exactly. I may feel that way, Nova, but it's not true. We are in this together. Never separate. Like, Like the biggest thing, Nova, right? If you want to imagine yourself as not alone or not separate, you can take Mother Earth. You can take you know, your little body, and then you are on Mother Earth, and you're like, ah, walking around, breathing oxygen, eating food, you know, drinking water and stuff, and then, whoop, here is Mother Earth, here is you. How long do you think you can be? You're like, well, Mel, maybe like 60 seconds after all of the air gets, you know, vented into the vacuum of space, and I slowly suffocate. Yes, in fact, that's about right. Well done, friend. So, do you think that you are separate? Because if you were, you would die within 60 seconds. You are very much connected. A part of this ecosystem. A part of this reality, friend. You are not separate. You are loved. So loved. Just look at how much there is for you. Breathe up, friends. Have a lovely evening, Mel. Thank you for everything this week, and hope that the week ahead is good to you. To all of us, love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mammy. I'm sure it will be. I might be a little bit tired at bits, but I look forward to it. I'm going to learn things. Again, thank you, friends. So much love to you. I look forward to seeing you again soon, Nova. Sleep tight, friend. Have an amazing day. Cheers, cheers. See you tomorrow.